And let's talk about the injury news as said by Ange Postecoglou. So what have we got?
Yeah, so we went through a bit of it before, but obviously Richarlison ruled out for this weekend, but he's actually back and training with the team, he said. So he's going to be available probably for the weekend, but not likely for tomorrow, but hadn't completely ruled it out. When it came to Dragoshin, we know he's a long-term injury. He's not going to be available until the new year. Kulusevski, he spoke about him, saying that he's definitely out for this weekend and probably the first leg against Frankfurt as well. But it does have a slight chance of making that second leg. He's out of the protective boot, which is really, really positive, but still probably a couple of weeks away. And Kevin Danso, he said as well, didn't really give too many details, but he said he's probably a couple of weeks away, and he's ruled out for this weekend as well. So that is kind of the latest there.
All right, so let's get into it. And you got to say, in goal, we all know who's going to go in goal, and that is going to be Vicario. Brilliant performances since he's been back from injury. And I would say he's been one of our standout, if not he's definitely been one of our standout players since he's been back.
Yeah, he's been fantastic, hasn't he? Really, really great. So it's been really good to have him back as well. I think you can see the difference to the team and even the defence as well. And he's made some really crucial saves. So he's going to be busy in this one, I'm sure. But yeah, he definitely comes in, starts again.
Moving on to right back, I think Pedro Porro comes back in.
I agree. I think he goes with Porro again. Did play... I think he played one game for Spain, didn't he? Didn't play the second game, so should be pretty fresh going into this game. Obviously, the only other option would be you could play Spence there, but yeah, we feel like he's probably going to keep Spence on the left. We'll go into that in a minute, but yeah, so we think Porro's going to start on the right.
Yeah, definitely Porro on the right and Spence on the left, in my opinion. So I think Spence's performances on the left have been sublime, really, and Udogie has flattered to deceive pretty much every time he's been in. So I got a feeling Udogie comes in for the game against Southampton, give one of Porro or Spence a rest, and have Spence at Porro at fullback in this one.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's what it'll do.
And moving on to centre-back, I think it will be the brilliant duo of Coutinho Romero and Mickey van der Ven back together, starting at Stamford Bridge, which you got to say, you know, Udogie, Spence, whichever way you want to look at it, that's our first choice backline.
Yeah, which is great to see. Obviously, we saw it against RZ for about 60 minutes, and it was pretty solid, to be honest, which was great. Obviously, it's a much tougher test, and Chelsea are going to have the likes of Jackson back, Palmer as well. So, especially with Jackson, he stretches you. He asks different questions. He's a different hard striker to deal with. But hopefully, this will be a good kind of... hopefully we can get this backline back together on a more consistent basis and build some momentum going into that Frankfurt game. So really great to see them all back together, and let's see how they do.
Yeah, I want to see 90 minutes from this pair going into the game this weekend, and I don't see a reason why not. Yeah. Like Van der Ven's been eased into it. He's now had 2 weeks off on the training ground. There's no reason why these two can't have a 90-minute stint together tomorrow.
I agree.
Moving into the midfield, what are we going to look at? Let's look at the number 6 first. Are we going to look at Lucas Bergvall there, or are we going to look at Rodrigo Bentancur?
Difficult one. Well, the thing is, Bentancur did have a couple of good games for Uruguay over the international break in the 6. Bergvall obviously had been a bit ill, but he's been training for a while, so he's definitely fit and available. I guess the question is, does he go with basically Bergvall in the 6 with a Sarr next to... the one we definitely know I think is starting is Maddison. So I think we can definitely put him in the 10.
Okay, Maddison in the 10 for sure.
He's definitely starting. So it's whether, does he go basically with Bergvall and Sarr or Bentancur and Bergvall? Essentially, I think is the choice here. I don't think Basuma starts. Obviously, we know Decky's injured. Gray, I don't think he puts Gray in. I don't think he did enough against Fulham to say he can definitely start this.
Yeah, I personally think he'll go with... I personally think he's going to go with Bergvall and Sarr, because I think he's going to want Sarr's legs as well to combat Moises Caicedo in the middle of the park, to be honest. But if you have Bergvall in the 6, is there a conversation there saying he could get overrun a little bit? I don't know. Maybe a double pivot of Bergvall and Bentancur.
Yeah, I've got a feeling he's going to go with Bentancur. He's going to want that. It could be a bit more experience at the bridge as well. And he's had a couple of good games for Uruguay. So I kind of feel like he will go with Bentancur and he'll put Sarr on the bench.
I feel like Sarr was about getting into a rhythm again, though, just before the international break.
It's true. In a way, I think if you don't want to be overrun, you're probably better off having Sarr and Bergvall. In a way,
Yeah.
but I do think I just got a feeling he's going to go for Bentancur.
Because I think you're coming up against one of the best midfielders in the league in this game in Moises Caicedo.
But we've also got Palmer there, wandering around. Is he going to want Bergvall just on him all game? Or is he going to want someone like Bentancur on him?
It's a difficult one. If you're really that strong about you think Bentancur is going to play, then let's go for him. But I do think it's going to be Sarr and Bergvall. But I don't mind.
Trying to think. Yeah, I do think he's going to Ben. We've only really played Bergvall in the 6 when Bentancur's been suspended. Although he did play well there against RZ, but it was only because Bentancur couldn't play. That's the only reason he did play there. But then he did play well.
Yeah, he was brilliant.
He was
Didn't
great.
just play well,
He was brilliant. But coming up against this Chelsea midfield is going to be a different prospect.
All right, go Bentancur in the 6 and go Bergvall in the 8.
Yeah, definitely think Bergvall starts. Where is he? There he is. Do we think that's going to be the midfield?
So that's the midfield. Bentancur, Bergvall, Maddison. Moving on to the front line. Dom Solanke is definitely up top in the 9.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. Sonny on the left.
Great.
And on the right-hand side,
Probably
are we going to
Wilson.
go for Wilson? Are we going to go for Brennan? Are we going to go for Tell? There's 3 options there.
There are 3 options. Wilson and Tell both had good international breaks. Johnson less so.
Johnson
Didn't-
actually had stinkers both
didn't
games,
play very well.
carrying on his Tottenham form into... I think it'll be Odebear.
Yeah, I don't
I
think
think
it'll be
Odebear
Johnson.
starts.
Yeah, I agree. I think Odebear as well. I think he's going to be the one on that right-hand side. Yeah, I think that'll be the front 3. So
And-
similar to, apart from the Bentancur and Sarr instead, I think same 11 that played against RZ. In
Yeah,
the home leg.
and I think this is the team, more or less, that we're gonna play Frankfurt with in a week's time as well.
It's hard to say because I think a form and me means is a lot. There's so many of these players. One bad game and they're out the team. I think.
Yeah,
So,
I think Bentancur's a case of that. Maybe
I think Odebear as well. Yeah, I think Odebear.
But apart from that, I think Son, Solanke, Maddison, Bergvall, Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, Spence, and Vicario.
You could even say one of Porro and Spence there. One bad game and the doggy could easily win that place back with one game.
True.
So I think, I think
For the most part, though, the majority of them are settled for Frankfurt. But look, that is the lineup we are going for to take this pitch at Stamford Bridge tomorrow night. Vicario in goal, Pedro Porro right back, Jed Spence at left back, a centre-back pairing of Kuti Romero and Mickey van der Ven, Rodrigo Bentancur, Lucas Bergvall and James Maddison as a midfield 3, Odebear on the right, Sonny on the left, and Big Dom Solanke up top. So that is your predicted lineup.
All right.
Not a bad lineup.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.